certainly the graphic user interface, or GUI as we used to say then, was a very, very important development in the industry, and Bill Gates recognized that very early on.
In the early days, everything had to be done through the keyboard. If you were just using a word processor, you had to have the skills of a piano player just to be able to, delete a word, etc., because you had to, press Control Alt Shift J, all together at the same time.
The leading business computer, the IBM PC, was not graphical. And our competitors took out full-page ads in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times saying graphic user interface was a terrible idea.
I remember asking Bill, what if Windows doesn't really make it? And Bill said, quite candidly, he said, well, we strapped ourselves to the mast with Windows, so we'll go down with the ship.
Our strategy can be summarized in one word: Windows.
Please welcome Bill Gates. Windows 95 is so easy, even a talk show host can figure it out.
Well, a defining moment this week for a company that dominates its field like few others.
We'd gone from being these sort of bunch of obscure geeks in, Redmond, Washington, to somebody who was on the nightly news.
At the Justice Department, there you see Attorney General Janet Reno. Let's listen in.
As you know, the court has just announced its remedy in the Microsoft case.
In the 1990s, we were still a startup at heart, and yet in the eyes of many other people, we were a much larger company that really, in their view, didn't have to worry about succeeding. There were definitely some people in government who felt that by integrating the browser into the operating system, Microsoft was acting in an anti-competitive way. And yet, for the people working at the company, this was all about being competitive.
The ruling lifts the cloud of breakup over the company, reverses the time claim, and says clearly that we did not attempt to monopolize the browser market.
While the antitrust trial was difficult, it was part of the growing up of Microsoft. Part of growing up is developing a greater sense of awareness of how other people perceive you and bringing to that a greater sense of responsibility.
The first time I met Bill, I really liked him from that very moment because I was a programmer and I looked at him and he was clearly a geek. And I really enjoyed talking from one geek to another, and we had a lot to talk about.
We had a lot of people who were slightly introverted, very intelligent, probably to some extent in their life had never really fit in. And Microsoft was probably the first time in their life where they've been around hundreds of people just like them. And so it was an environment where the intellect of these extraordinary people fed on each other.
When we first started talking about the Xbox, the conversation with Bill and in the boardroom was really, do we believe that entertainment is going to be like a software industry? And 20 years from now, do we want to have the same kind of impact on changing the way that people play as we have in the last 20 years with the way that people work? And the answer was yes.
I think we proved to ourselves once already that we can really undergo, a huge change. We made the same kind of change to internet-based software, and we'll make the same kind of change when it comes to software and services.
In our world, there's two things that drive us forward. One is, how is the hardware evolving? And the second then is, what do you do with it? How's the software evolving? The other thing is we're really trying to change the nature of software, where people will have a much more natural way of interacting with the machines. We've introduced the surface computing. We've got phones and game consoles, and I think increasingly we'll be able to talk to our computer and it'll talk back. And it may even become possible for it to anticipate some of the things that we want to do and just do them for us.
And so the frontier for software to have the impact is bigger than ever. Once you get the internet, you can connect up in a way that you're essentially running a computer program that's using both computers. So it's not just the browser where you see information. That's a very big thing, but it's also a whole new way of looking at computing. When you get the internet explosion, it creates the opportunity for these services,
And we're just really at the beginning of that services wave. That's the thing that Ray Ozzie has come in and is driving all our products broadly to seize that opportunity.
At this moment in time, I see nothing but opportunity as we're moving into a world where the internet has taken a very big role, and our vision really is to build compelling experiences that bring together the power of the internet with the magic of software across a world of devices.
Bill and I believe that all lives, no matter where they're lived, have equal value. And we want to make sure that everybody on the planet has the chance to live a healthy and productive life. So we have the foundation focusing on 3 key areas: global health, extreme poverty, and also strengthening the U.S. education system. Bill has a really amazing ability to take very complex problems apart. So whether those are problems in the computer technology arena or whether those are problems of the neediest around the globe, but he sees things in large systems. He sees the scale and the magnitude of the problem, and then he's able to take them apart and say, what is the foundation's catalytic role in making change here? Where should I bring other partners in? Where should I bring governments in?
It will be fantastic to see what 30 years from now we celebrate as the contribution that he made during this second career for Bill Gates.
And I think when people look back, 100 years from now, they'll think about literally a period that's probably 50 or 60 years long in which computer technology changed the world. I think they'll just say, wow, wasn't that an amazing period? As amazing as any industrial revolution, as any kind of advance in the history of the world. We really achieved the ideal of what I wanted Microsoft to become.